Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're focusing on a role that is just so critical to any large organization, the purchasing agent.
It really is.
We've gone through a stack of essential sources, curated interview scripts, strategy documents to give you a real crash course in the mindset, really the core competencies you need for success in procurement. So our mission today is to get way past the job description. We're going to extract the fundamental knowledge, the strategic thinking that you need to master this field. We're turning abstract ideas into, well, actionable insights.
Right.
Because this isn't just about placing orders. It's about a strategic contribution to the bottom line.
And that contribution is exactly what makes the role so vital. I mean, think about it. Purchasing agents are the financial and the logistical gatekeepers.
Gatekeepers, that's a good word for it.
Yeah. They're tasked with making sure the organization gets what it needs, the goods and services, at the optimal price. And that is a very different thing from the lowest price.
Okay, that's a key distinction right there.
It's huge. And at the same time, they have to maintain high quality, and this is critical, cultivate strong strategic supplier relationships, the kind that can actually withstand disruption.
Which we see all the time now.
All the time. So when you see employers using these kinds of questions, they're drilling down into four main skill sets: negotiation, real supply chain management, effective vendor evaluation, and of course, detailed cost analysis.
So for you, the listener, the goal is to show you're not just a transactional processor.
Exactly. You have to demonstrate that you are a strategic thinker who directly, enhances profitability and manages corporate risk.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's start with the foundation, the tangible experience they absolutely need to see.
The basics.
The basics. The first area is just showing you've mastered the purchasing life cycle. The sources really hit this hard with a foundational question about your experience with procurement and sourcing.
Yeah, but the expectation here is so much more detailed than just what's on your resume.
Right, it's not a summary.
Not at all. Employers want to see that you own the entire process. You have to detail how you draft an effective RFP, request for proposal, how you manage competitive bidding, how you lead a contract negotiation from the very beginning all the way to signing.
So it's a mix of logistics, finance,
and relationship management. It's everything. I mean, can you walk us through how you manage a contract renewal cycle? Are you waiting until the last second, or are you proactively reevaluating that supplier, say, 6 months out?
That's the key difference, isn't it? Proactive management versus just reactive processing.
That's it.
So once that's established, the role immediately pivots into finance, because procurement is really about managing these massive outflows of cash.
Precisely. Which brings us straight to budget control. Our sources highlight that agents need to speak the language of finance. It's all about tracking and accountability.
And the question is pretty direct, right? How do you manage and track your department's budget?
It is. But what's really illuminating is the methodology they expect. It isn't just about a single line item. A successful PA has to approach this with a total cost of ownership mindset.
TCO, okay.
It starts with setting clear financial goals, sure, but the real work is monitoring spending against long-term value, not just the unit price.
So what are the tools of the trade here? I mean, saying I use spreadsheets probably isn't going to cut it anymore.
Oh, definitely not. Not if you're dealing with enterprise-level procurement. The source material really emphasizes using integrated practical tools. We're talking about sophisticated budgeting software that hooks right into major ERP systems.
So like SAP or Oracle?
Exactly. Or specialized procurement tools like Coupa. These systems let you track everything, manage invoices electronically, generate audit trails instantly.
Wait a second. If an agent is proposing new software, that's a big expense in itself. How do you convince leadership that the ROI on a new complex ERP module is actually worth the cost? Isn't that part of the budget challenge?
It absolutely is, and that's where the strategic piece comes in. You use performance metrics to justify the spend.
I see.
You argue that the efficiency gains less manual work, fewer errors, better leverage in negotiations because you have real-time data, that all of that will help you stick to the budget while at the same time reducing operational friction.
So you prove that by spending, say, $10,000 on software, you avoid $100,000 in lost revenue from mistakes.
That's the argument. It's that constant tension. Saving money versus enabling the company to succeed.
That efficiency argument is a perfect transition, because while finance is the bedrock, success really hinges on managing people and anticipating problems.
That's right. We're shifting from the analytical to the relationship side. Which brings us to our next critical section. how PAs handle conflict and manage risk when those relationships are tested.
This is where it gets really interesting for me.
This is where the soft skills meet the hard reality of business.
Yeah, procurement isn't just ordering things, it's navigating unavoidable conflict. The sources stress that the best agents show poise under pressure. The next question asks it directly. How do you handle conflicts with suppliers?
And the required response is, it's highly procedural. It focuses on stabilizing things quickly and fairly. The first step, always, is to identify the root cause of the issue.
So you can't solve it until you know why it happened.
You can't. Was it a logistics error?
Yeah.
A manufacturing flaw, a miscommunication in the order spec? You have to know.
Right.
And once you know the cause, the PA has to align everyone internally, production, finance, legal, to figure out the non-negotiable outcome. Then you engage the supplier. The approach has to be open, honest, and focused on finding a mutually beneficial solution. And fast.
It sounds like the PA is a professional mediator, but with a lot of company money on the line. What's the biggest mistake you can make in that situation?
Losing your temper or going straight to threats. The goal is long-term stability. A successful PA stays calm, they stay professional, and they see conflict as a data point, not a personal failure.
A data point. I like that.
They should already have a plan to mitigate the impact on the company. Maybe that's activating a secondary supplier or shifting the production schedule. The PA acts as a firewall, protecting operations from the supplier's problems.
That risk mitigation mindset seems foundational, and it leads us right to the ultimate strategic dilemma in this field. This is the aha moment where cost savings just collide head-on with risk management.
There really is.
The next question asks candidates to describe a time they had to make a difficult purchasing decision, and the source material gives this classic hypothetical that just defines the entire profession.
It's a universal scenario, the classic trade-off between two suppliers for a critical component. So you have supplier A, who offers a much lower price, say 15% cheaper.
Okay, sounds good so far.
But they have a known, documented history of delivery delays, quality control issues. So high risk, low cost. Then you have supplier B, higher price, but a proven, reliable track record. On time, high quality, low risk, high cost.
And the PA has to choose.
Right. And the critical thing here is to quantify the hidden costs of that risk. You have to ask, what's the financial impact if our production line shuts down? Will that delay trigger penalties in our own contracts with customers? What's the cost of our teams just sitting around waiting for material?
So you're literally converting operational risk into a dollar value, just to compare the two bids properly.
Exactly. If supplier A is 15% cheaper, but has a 25% chance of delaying a project that costs the company, I don't know, $500,000 a day in lost revenue,
those initial savings are just gone instantly.
they evaporate.
Yeah.
The decision requires the PA to weigh that immediate cost saving against the severe, quantifiable risk of delay.
But let me play devil's advocate. What if supplier A's low price saves us $200,000 right away, and the delay only happens, say, 10% of the time? Isn't there a calculation where the cost savings do make the risk acceptable?
That's the subtlety. You are absolutely right.
Especially if the item isn't mission critical.
That's it. For high-stakes procurement, the suggested successful outcome in the sources is choosing the reliable supplier, supplier B, for a smooth and successful project. But a brilliant PA recognizes that risk appetite changes. If it's a non-critical office supply, maybe you take that risk on supplier A.
But if it's the engine for a new machine,
Reliability always outweighs the immediate cost savings, every time.
that makes perfect sense. The optimal price isn't the lowest price. It's the price that guarantees operational continuity while still hitting the budget.
That is the core takeaway. A higher quality, reliable supply chain is an investment in stability. It's not just an expense.
Okay, moving into our final section, we have to talk about professional acumen. How a PA stays sharp and maintains integrity when the global market is constantly shifting. You can't make those complex risk calculations if your info is 6 months old.
Proactivity is paramount. This requires continuous learning, and the key question here is, how do you stay current with industry developments? And this goes way beyond just general reading.
Right.
The methods successful agents use are both formal and informal. Formally, they're regularly reading specialized trade publications, not just the news, but journals tracking commodity prices, logistics tariffs, geopolitical risks.
And informally.
Informally, they're active. They are at industry conferences, networking events.
What's fascinating about that is the emphasis on community. Why would market intelligence move faster through personal channels than official reports?
Because the market is constantly reacting to unexpected stuff. A new tariff is imposed overnight. A major port closes because of weather. A rare material shortage suddenly appears.
And that information hits sourcing strategies long before it's in an economic report.
Weeks before. Maintaining a robust professional network of colleagues, your counterparts at other non-competing firms, it gives you real-time practical insights. The best buyers are always open to learning, to updating their skills based on that ground-level intelligence, not just headlines.
That external awareness protects the company.
Yeah.
But the final piece is internal protection. Compliance.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the rules, all that strategic genius can create massive corporate liability.
Absolutely. Integrity is completely non-negotiable. So question 6 asks, how do you ensure compliance with company policies and procedures?
And the expectation from management must be pretty high.
Oh, it's layered. It starts with the PA acting as the internal compliance officer for their department. They have to stay informed about every update or change, a new anti-bribery policy, a new data privacy regulation, and then clearly communicate and train their own team on those policies.
And how is that oversight enforced? Is it just a memo they send out?
No, it has to be formal diligence. The oversight mechanism means regularly reviewing the entire procurement process against a compliance checklist.
So like internal audits of invoicing.
Exactly, or making sure every single supplier contract has the right indemnity and liability clauses. It's ongoing work, not a one-time check.
I see.
And critically, the risk mitigation component involves comprehensive training on relevant laws. The PA has to ensure checks and balances are in place to mitigate risks like ethical sourcing violations or conflicts of interest. It's about building a sustainable culture of integrity.
So we've covered 6 distinct areas here, from tracking dollars to navigating conflict, but they all fit into this one high-stakes strategic mindset.
Yeah, if you connect it all back to the bigger picture, a successful purchasing agent has to master this really complex balance. They need financial acumen and compliance, yes, but those have to be supported by highly evolved soft skills.
Like diplomatic conflict resolution.
Right, and continuous proactive learning and strategic risk assessment where you're constantly weighing immediate financial gains against long-term operational reliability.
It's fascinating. It's a role that demands the analytical precision of a TCO analysis, combined with the strategic foresight of a chief risk officer. This procurement mindset is a foundational business skill. And the sources highlight just how many related roles rely on this. Art dealers, navigating risk and authenticity. Commodity buyers, driven by pure market volatility. Fashion buyers, dealing with rapid trend changes.
Contracts specialists focusing just on the legal side.
Right, and merchandise buyers, optimizing inventory for profit. They all live and breathe this strategic balancing act.
Absolutely. The principles of optimal acquisition, they define how resources flow across the globe.
Which leaves us with a provocative thought to end on, circling back to that difficult purchasing decision. We concluded that in high-stakes environments, reliability often trumps cost savings.
Right.
But the global landscape is changing. How does the shifting balance between increasingly complex, vulnerable supply chains and rapidly changing market prices and intense shareholder pressure for immediate cost cuts, how does that affect a PA's ability to stick to that ideal?
That's a great question.
Is it becoming harder for them to guarantee that reliability always wins over quick, dramatic cost savings? That's your deep dive homework.